Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. Excuse me, I've got to get dressed up here because I'm with the guys at Texas Roadhouse this morning. You guys have been here before.
Yes.
Came here last year. That's why, you know, I'm already suited up for this. But Zach Knoll and Zach Newbold, two Zachs, just so you can get confused this morning, helping us get ready for the Super Bowl. Because as we all know, if you want people to come over to your house to watch the game, you may have to have a big TV, but you definitely have to have good food, right?
Right, exactly.
And you guys have a lot of party platters going on at Texas Roadhouse as well.
We do. We have our ribs and our shrimp and pulled pork sliders that I'll show you today. The most important thing about Super Bowl is if you're cooking and hosting, you don't want to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, because you want to see the game. Yeah, exactly.
So pulled pork, roast pork is a really good way to do it because you can do it in advance. You can do it the night before. You can do it early in the morning. And I'm just going to show you a couple tools you'll need to make that happen.
And that's kind of what we're going to be doing because we're going to start with the preparation right now. A little bit later in the show, you're going to show us how to actually make some of these sandwiches, that kind of stuff, right? Some of the sliders. All right, so we're starting with an entire shoulder, is it, of pork?
Yeah, pork shoulder or Boston butt. Either one depends on how your grocer marks it. You can get, any of these pans. You can use a roasting pan. You can use a glass pan. I just happen to have a metal pan here with a grate in the bottom.
And that's going to be important later on too, right?
Yeah, important, and it'll be important later on. So a couple things you need, obviously, the pork, the pan, the seasoning, and the wet ingredient.
So what is this wet ingredient?
Water and liquid smoke.
Liquid smoke. This makes that's going to give it that flavor that you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll show you kind of how to put this together, and then we'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll throw it in the oven.
Awesome. And we'll come back. Yeah. So let's start with that.
So first part, we're going to start. We're going to put our water and liquid smoke in the bottom of the pan here, like you see. I'm just going to kind of glove up here. So the raw pork, you always want to make sure you're being safe.
All right.
And I'm going to just shake the seasoning. You can use seasoned salt, black pepper, salt, whatever you like.
Okay.
There's different seasonings and rubs that are already pre-made and ready to go at the grocery store, whatever you prefer.
But it seems like a lot of the stuff you guys have shown us, I remember last year you came on, you guys were making ribs, a lot of dry rubs that seem to work well with some of these pork and other meats too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what you see here is I'm just going to liberally get it all over. All over. So we call it like rolling in the sand. Sandy beach, all the crevices, all the cracks. You can see here the bone, where the bone used to be. I'd recommend not buying it with the bone.
Okay.
Definitely get boneless. It'll cook more evenly and a lot faster for you.
And like we were talking in the pan where you already got the liquid smoke in the water, you talked about the metal grate. That's important too, because basically it's just going to be steaming and smoking the whole thing without getting it all overly soggy, right? Is that what we're going for?
Yep. Nice and tender. It'll pull right apart. It'll be real easy for you to work with when it comes out of the oven.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this in here, put it in the oven like you said, and we're going to come back about half an hour or so and see how this is going. And Zach, maybe you can show us, how we're going to be putting some of this together as well. So
definitely,
that's going to go in the oven. This is going to be super easy for your Sunday Super Bowl party because you got to have good food. Another recipe coming up as well, not just this one. So we've got more. Thanks so much for showing us. Texas Roadhouse, they're going to be here all morning. Texas Roadhouse here once again with the two Zachs, just to make things confusing for you, Zach Knoll, Zach Newbold, both from the Texas Roadhouse here in Nampa. Now, you guys saw earlier, you were showing us how to do the dry rub on the pork shoulder and everything, right? Now, thanks to the magic of TV, that's going to be baking faster than normal, but you do need to allow plenty of time for that one, right? That needs to be in the oven for how long?
5 hours, 5 to 6 hours.
So obviously longer than the length of Good Morning Idaho, but we are going to wrap that one up coming up here in just a little bit. So in the meantime, let's get started on something else, right?
Cool. For those of us that aren't afraid to brave the grill with the snow right now, the shrimps are a real quick and easy way to get your guests happy.
And it's nice to have some seafood just to kind of change some things up at your party, right?
Totally. And you can do this. The night before and keep it in the refrigerator, and then when you're ready to cook them, because they'll cook really quickly. You can go ahead and skewer them the night before, get them all ready to go.
Now, what are your thoughts on wood skewers, metal skewers? Or do you prefer one over the other?
No, it's totally up to you.
My wood ones always burn. They always catch on fire.
A couple things you could do with the wood is soak them in water for a little while.
I guess I should have thought of that on my own.
Or you can just use the metal ones if you want to use them on the grill. Wood are great if you have like a little skillet in the house that you want to use like you make pancakes on or fried eggs or whatever you can do. But yeah, you just want to skewer them up real quickly or slowly so you don't stab yourself.
And I understand you've got a couple different ways that you can season these as well, or do you? Now, Zach, you had some of these seasonings going out. We've got some lemons on here on display. I'm assuming these lemons are going to come into play for this as well.
They can. You can put. We put very many butters on ours. You can put kind of a lemon pepper if you want, any garlic seasoning on them if you want.
My wife loves lemon on everything. She would probably use the lemon pepper butter and then, you know, add more lemon juice on top of it just because that's what she loves. But it tends to go pretty well with seafood, though, the lemon flavor.
It does,
right?
yes.
And so you mentioned the other one was a garlic butter?
A garlic butter, yep. So just another butter, you can put paprika, cayenne pepper, and a little spice in there if you want, and then mix in that minced garlic with it, and it makes a great topping for it. Also a great dipping sauce if you want to use that. And
once again, like you were saying on the pork earlier, it probably just comes down to your taste as well, right? I mean, if you've got a spice that you just love, throw it in there, right? I mean, everyone probably does it their own way.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. So you've got these shrimp, which you did say that you had let thaw, of course, because you're not going to be able to skewer them if they're still frozen.
No.
So I mean, is it just soaking them in the butter? How easy is it to prep them before you actually throw them on the grill?
You know, that it's simple, just like you saw there with the skewering, and then you take your seasonings and just sprinkle over the top, get them ready to go.
And don't forget about how nice that dry seasoning can get in there. And then, of course, are you doing a basting while they're on the grill with some of the other stuff too?
Yeah. Like Zach was saying, you can use the garlic butter. You can use just squeeze lemon over the top.
Super easy.
Just regular oil if you want to. If you just want to fry them, you can do that.
However you want to get them done, basically. Now,
that's the fun part.
And so you can see the finished product here as well, some delicious shrimp that you guys have already thrown on the grill. And people can come and get these platters at Texas Roadhouse if you don't want to cook, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you guys have them available there as well.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to come back in a little bit because we still have to finish up that pork.
Yes.
See how to make those sliders. We've got more appetizers coming up for you. Thanks so much to Texas Roadhouse, Zach for being here this morning. We're going to check in with them in just a little bit. It's ready to eat yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been roasting this pork in TV time, 5-6 hours.
Right.
That's how long your pork needs. Texas Roadhouse back again. Zach Knoll, Zach Newbold, both helping make some of these sliders. So let's catch everybody up. We did do that dry rub, the liquid smoke, all that stuff.
Yes.
So you've got your pork shoulder, your Boston butt, whatever it is. It's been roasting for about 5-6 hours before you pull it, right?
Yep.
And then Zach, tell us about the pulling process and then what you want to do to get it ready for sandwiches after that.
All right, so after your 5 to 6 cooking hours, you want to pull it, and you're going to set it out into a pan, and you're going to pull, the remaining fat and get all the actual good stuff that you want to eat.
This may be a weird question, but are you more of a pulling it with your hands, or do you like double fork action? Like what's the best way?
I recommend using some tongs. It can be really hot, but if you want to brave the heat, then you're more than welcome to use your hands, and you can space out whether you want it really chunky or you want it really thin, kind of pork style on your sandwich. It just depends on what you want.
All right, so you're gonna be shredding it, pulling it apart, and then I understand there's some sauce on it as well. And we've got one of those stages as well. Luis, you're over here as well. Let's get that over. Tell me what this is then. This is still not the finished stage of the pork though, right?
No, this is okay. So after you get done pulling apart, as you can see, it's kind of a big chunky hunk and chunks is what we like to call it.
Hunk and chunk.
So after you get it all ripped apart, you're gonna pour your style of barbecue sauce on it. It doesn't matter, any spicy, honey barbecue, sweet barbecue, whatever you prefer.
What kind is this today?
This is our legendary.
This is our legendary barbecue sauce.
This is the stuff you can find at Texas Roadhouse. And again, you can come and order some of these. Do you guys do to go?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So you can get some to go if you don't want to make it at home, but hey, we are showing you if you do want to make it at home. So you got plenty of options here. So Zach, fill us in now. You've put all the barbecue sauce on and everything. I know in my house barbecue sauce comes out of the fridge, so still a little bit more cooking time after this, right?
Yes. Yeah, you want to go about 30 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees until the internal temperature is 170.
Okay. So meat thermometers come in handy for this.
Meat thermometer is very important. I don't usually brave the heat when I'm pulling the pork, so I always let it cool off before I pull it.
How long does it take to get cool? I imagine it might take a while after it's been roasting for 5-6 hours, right?
Yeah. Once you pull the pork, just to reiterate, once you pull the pork into the sizes you want. You want to get that cooled down as fast as you can to 39, 40 degrees.
Okay, so do it quickly then. Especially, I understand if you want it, if you're making it the day before or something like that.
Yes.
Because you got to keep it safe. Keep it at that safe temperature.
Within 2 hours. You want to get it down below 40 between 2 hours. And I don't recommend touching the pork with your hands right out of the oven.
Of course,
he's a little crazy, but
that's why I mentioned the tongs. I was like, hey.
Tongs, forks, whatever you want. If you are going to use your hands, you definitely want it cool before you do any of that. And we noticed you've been using your gloves as well. Safety as well for when you're making food for a lot of people. Yeah. So we've got the barbecue sauce. You guys have your legendary sauce going on now. Popping it back in the oven, right?
Yep.
And we're going to let this cook in our Magic TV oven as well.
Luis,
as we bring out more. All right, Luis, this one has been cooking.
Yes.
Thank you for your help, by the way. Luis, I don't know if he was camera shy or just, you're doing a great job, man. No problems at all. All right, we got it ready finally. It should be pretty easy to make some sliders, right?
Yeah, perfect. You can see it's a darker color. The barbecue sauce, the sugars have caramelized, so you have that extra flavor, and then you're ready to go. The most important thing about Super Bowl is easy.
Yeah.
You know, no flash. Nobody wants flash. They want food fast, hot.
Exactly, and that was pretty fast. I mean, faster than the normal 5 or 6 hours. We got some of these.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and make some of these.
So you can go a couple different ways. You can do the big sandwich. You can do the sliders.
If you want more of an appetizer type thing.
Exactly. So you're just going to want to cut away from you or down with the knife, right through. Get your bun open. Take your tongs, and just load up. And
of course, if you're doing this at your house, you could put the pork out there available for anyone. Kind of get their own amount. And,
exactly.
How much pork do you like? What's your proportion of everything? Is there any sort of thing that you guys ever put with it, or do you just like the bread and pork? Is that, I mean?
You can do coleslaw. You can do baked beans. You can do beans are real easy to do.
That's true.
We have corn or green beans that we would be able to put on the side. I think the most important thing is you do what you like and what your guests like. And
like we said, you lay out a whole spread for your guests, and hey, they can pick what they want.
Exactly.
When they're at your house. So smaller version, just making a slider.
Yep.
More of an appetizer.
Smaller slider. If that's an appetizer, this is for you over there in the weather station.
Yeah, because Bree's been starving the entire morning because she wants one of those. See, Bree, we're taking care of you. I'm taking care of me though with that big one over there. Zach, if you wouldn't mind.
I don't mind.
So your sliders, your shrimp, we went over that as well. Pulled pork sandwiches. We're gonna have these recipes posted at idahoonyourside.com, and of course, like we've said, if you're too lazy or just don't want to be in the kitchen, then head on over to Texas Roadhouse. You guys are from the one in Nampa, right there off of the Midland exit on Nampa Caldwell Boulevard.
Yes.
Is where you guys are. Get it to go order. Bring it over to your house, right?
Yeah. Any large orders, give us a call by Friday. That way we'll have it all set up for you and the time you want to pick it up.
And your Super Bowl party is going to be well taken care of with Texas Roadhouse. Thanks so much, Zach and Luis, for being here this morning. We sure appreciate it.